In video games, you normally play as boring, normal-sized people, rather than the 60-foot behemoths we all aspire to be. However, some games realise that being a huge monster is fun, actually, and so, for a brief moment, allow us to go from puny adventurers into mob-destroying giants. Oh yes! Here are the times being enormous, let us destroy our enemies, and therefore our problems. Beware spoilers for the following games.
The Alice in Wonderland story is full of size-changing moments, so of course the game inspired by it, Alice Madness Returns, is full of them too. Throughout the game, Alice can use shrink sense to get through keyholes, plus it also allows her to see hidden notes, pathways, and invisible flying pig snouts. Yeah, I don't remember that in the book. Must have been towards the end. But there is one standout size-related section in the game in Queensland. No, not the one in Australia, but the scary one in the game guarded by the unkillable executioner. After being chased by him many times, Alice stumbles across a cake with the classic Wonderland label of "Eat Me." After scarfing this delicacy, instead of shrinking down, she grows to a towering height and deals with the executioner rather deftly. And when I say deftly, I mean she stood on him like he was a little bug. After multiple terrifying chases, dealing with this nightmare in one stomp is very satisfying. But this isn't the only stomp you get to, well, stomp. After having fought a whole bunch of card guards throughout Queensland as a normal-sized human, you're treated to a whole Godzilla-style section where a now giant Alice stomps around, capable of destroying dozens of card guards in one fell swoop. The especially tricky armoured guards that took normal-sized Alice multiple stages to take down can be swatted away by Mega Alice like flies. This riotous rageout has you steer Mega Alice, helping her smash her way through the architecture, rip up tentacles from the floor, and topple the Queen of Hearts towers. Annoyingly, cutscene Alice brings the fun to an end when she downs a fountain of Wonderland's water and gets you back to normal size. Cutscene Alice.
When it comes to being a big thing fighting a small thing, Shadow of the Colossus is the opposite of that. For most of the adventure, you play as Wanda, a teeny person tasked with hunting down a collection of colossi, many of which are so huge that they cause minor earthquakes when they fall to the ground after you kill them. But that all changes when you get to the end of the game, when the mysterious entity that sent you on your quest possesses you and turns you into a giant smoke monster thingy. Well, 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 how the turntables. The entity, known as Dormin, was broken up and sealed away in the Colossi before you came along and freed it like a stupid tiny chump. And now a bunch of dudes who turned up to try and keep Dormin sealed up are instead met with a whopping wonder. What follows is a small taste of the power of a Colossus, with you able to smash the puny humans below you. And use Dormin's breath like some kind of smoky, horned Godzilla. What? I said horned. Oh. God. Sadly, it's very short-lived, as the puny humans use some kind of buzzkill magic to seal Dormin away, stealing your powers and sucking you into a purifying fountain. But Dormin Smash.
One's true power can really only be found in one place: the mind.
Ellen, did you remember to take back those library books?
Someone with a lot of brain power is Rasputin from Psychonauts, who can enter people's minds in the astral plane. After a difficult multi-stage boss battle against the hideous hulking lungfish of Lake Oblongata, Raz is invited into the lungfish's subconscious to help free its mind. Here he finds the bustling city of Lungfishopolis, home to many happy lungfish enjoying their kaiju-free home.
Top of the morning to you, ma'am.
And good day to you, Officer Lungfish. How are you today?
Aw, they seem nice. Hope nothing ruins their day.
Not a one of us want any trouble, that's for sure.
Oh. Yup, Raz comes stomping in the size of a not-so-small building, giving you the power to easily tumble any tower blocks and scale any skyscraper, like a King Kong with mind powers. That is to say, the ultimate weapon. After being chased down by the hideous hulking lungfish, it feels pretty good to be the big one this time. And you have to be big to take down Kochamara, who has brainwashed most of the populace. But before you have to face him in a grueling Godzilla Mothra-style showdown, you get to enjoy smashing your way through the city, being way OP. The area becomes filled with tanks that you can smash to pieces or throw into the murky green waters surrounding the city's shore. This is a power trip so big that it could cause a blackout across the entire west coast of America, and all the while you'll hear the screams of the residents as you run riot.
My score.
I'm sure the lungfish can imagine this all back together nice and quick, right? Before the guilt sets in, you should know that this destruction is for good reason. It's all to help free the resistance, residents who aren't under Kochamara's mind-controlling influence, who will help you end his reign of terror, although some of them could be a bit more grateful.
So, this big monster, is that the best you could do?
Can you pick up a tank and throw it 50 meters? Thought not. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm off to trapeze off a crane. What? I'm having fun.
You can't take more than a few steps in a Mario game without bumping into some kind of power-up. There are ones that make Mario a little taller, ones that make him throw fireballs, ones that turn him into a raccoon, heck, there's even one that turns him into a cat. But there's also one that turns him bloody massive, and I'm not talking about your regular power-up mushroom, I'm talking about one that turns Mario into the size of a house. This rare power-up made an appearance in New Super Mario Bros. 1 and 2, both found on the Nintendo DS, and oh boy does Mario need this power-up, the weakling. Find the right pipe to shoot fireballs into, or mystery block to smack Mario's head against, and it'll floomp out a mushroom big enough to crush our plumbing hero. Chase that giant mushroom though, and you'll gain the size and power to crush everything in your path, making mincemeat of every enemy and every block in your way, in a rampage as gleefully destructive as it is incredibly satisfying. Oh man. Nobody tell Luigi about this. We're dead for sure.
There's just too many of them.
Merida from Brave may be a fiery redhead with excellent archery skills, but she is also human-sized. Yawn. In Brave's officially licensed video game, you mainly run around the size of a standard humanoid, whizzing around in battle as you try to avoid getting smushed by rock giants, do acrobatic sword attacks, and fire a slew of different elemental arrows into elemental enemies. Fortunately for us, Merida accidentally turned her mother, Queen Eleanor, into a rather large bear, also known as Queen Bearlenor in the film.
No, she's not.
Well, she should be. Occasionally, when too many enemies show up for Merida to deal with, royal and Aes Sedai family member Queen Bearlenor jumps in to wreck some shiz up. Using her mighty clawed paws, you can easily swipe, pound or charge your way through all the enemies, often taking out loads of them in a single attack. Queen Bearlenor easily crushes the smaller enemies that Merida needs to shoot several arrows into. And those huge rock golems that constantly try to crush your curly-haired hero are no match for this furry fighter. These rampages are a real power trip, but they are brief and a few and far between, with Queen Bearlenor running off at the end once she knows Merida is safe. Merida's lucky she's got cool hair, otherwise I'd be real mad about being small again.
You sure you can handle this thing?
You know the kind of day we've had? You wouldn't ask.
The Gears of War series is most famous for its gritty grey-brown aesthetic, putting jam on the screen whenever you get hurt, and lots of crouching behind chest-high walls. And Gears of War 4 certainly sticks to that formula, although look, they put some green in, and you're not going to believe this, blue! Ooh! But right at the end of the game, Gears 4 goes even further, if you can imagine that. It steps away from its classic cover-based shooter roots, putting you in the cockpit of a bright blue giant mech with yellow trim, because if there's one thing you need for your giant alien-killing war machine, it's a nice paint job. Look, again, I'm just grateful it's not grey and/or brown. What follows is basically a big reward for cowering behind so many bits of stone and concrete up to this point. As the swarm still tries to come at you, you, now considerably larger in your new metallic frame, can easily and enjoyably liquefy them with your huge gun, or stomp them with your huge metal feet. Giant alien beasts that caused you giant problems earlier on are now easily dealt with, whether that be with the aforementioned guns and feet, or by using the mech's extremely Xtra onboard targeting systems to call in an airstrike. Yeah, that should do it. Annoyingly, cover-based shooting does make a comeback when a swarm axe shows up for a fight. But hey, at least this isn't a chest-high wall, it's more of a car park-sized wall, so it's not as bad as when you first encountered one earlier in the game.
Oh great, now we got a swarm axe!
Yeah, but this time he's picking on someone his own size!
Plus, once you've ripped it apart with a rather satisfying melee finisher, you're straight back to smushing monsters again and... wait, another swarmac? Well, at least those things will be the worst of our worries. Cool. Yeah, you know what? I'm just going to go back to my power fantasy where I stomp on smaller, weaker, easier aliens for a while. I'll leave you to it. Bye.
In Inside, you play as a small boy who has a severe weakness to very angry dogs. See, what he needed there was longer legs. Due to the boy's small stature, you have to have help. You even use strange puppet humans to get around obstacles that your tiny frame could not, by using strange headsets you plug yourself into, all the while trying to avoid humans, hounds, and robots who can easily stop the boy in a variety of horrible ways. However, in the very final section of the game, the boy ends up in a tank with a large blob of flesh, and unplugs it from its own strange headsets before being absorbed into it like a spare lump of Play-Doh. One reading of this is that the boy was just another puppet being controlled by the blob the whole time as a means to help it escape. But what we think is, yeah, blob smash! Because from here on out, you are suddenly in control of not a weak little boy who can't even defeat a window, but a huge many-limbed monster that can smash its way out of most situations. Now the people who would have chased you down have to leg it from your many, well, legs, and gates that would have been a 3-step puzzle minimum can be easily wrenched off by your many arms. And now the dogs that killed you instantly can do nothing but bark while you quietly get on with some puzzle solving. I assume we can take the blob into New Game Plus? No?
So those were the times when it really paid off to be a giant version of yourself in a video game. Can you think of any other examples? If so, let us know in the...
Look, I found the shrink ray and I turned it to reverse and now I'm big!
Oh no, it's a giant version of Ellen. She's come to kill me at last. Oh no, she's getting the revenge that she's so swiping at me. The giant, horrible claws. Oh god, watch these other videos. There's a link to Patreon. I'll soon be dead, but join the Patreon anyway. Bye.